And a young boy was a vibrant, happy 11-year-old kid, and his dream was to be a bat boy for the New York Yankees.
Well, his life came to a horrific and a sudden end when he was hit by a car, and the woman driving should never have been behind the wheel.
The story's going to make you sad and furious all at the same time. Here's Fox 5's John Deutzman with his investigation.
Almost every day, for 4 or 5 hours each day, James Moore does something no father would ever want to do. He spends that time tending to the fresh grave of his 11-year-old son, Michael.
Can you still believe that this has happened? It's just a short time ago.
Like I said, I'm still numb.
Michael's mom is beyond numb.
And he always had a smile on his face. And he brought so much joy to everybody.
Michael's 3-year-old brother, James, still asks for Michael. He has no clue what happened to his best friend. It's a real tough story to tell. 2 months ago, Michael strolled out his front door to join his dad across the street. They were going to get Italian ices. Michael never made it. He walked between 2 parked cars and was sideswiped on Victory Boulevard by this car driven by this woman, Jasmine Martinez.
Can you get out of my face, yo?
I'm just trying to get a straight answer.
Just get out of my face.
She was driving her mother's car. The mirror is still ripped off. The fender still dented from Michael's body.
Police did not have enough evidence at this scene to charge Jasmine with speeding, reckless driving, or anything that proves that she caused this accident. But she should have never been behind the wheel. She was charged with driving with a suspended license. That's where our investigation kicks in, and that's where things get real disturbing.
And it's hard to say what's more disturbing, Jasmine's driving record, which you're about to see, or her attitude about the accident.
Do you have any remorse for what happened?
Of course, but it was not my fault.
Back at the cemetery, Michael's father, a school bus driver, wonders how he can afford to pay for his son's headstone. He recently had a memorial to Michael burned in his arm.
You understand that you shouldn't have been behind the wheel that night.
If you don't get out of my face, we're going to have a real problem, all right?
Well, that family has a problem. They have an 11-year-old son on the ground, and you shouldn't have been behind the wheel.
Should have watched their child, okay? That was not my fault, and all the documents show it.
Police say the accident that killed Michael was not Jasmine's fault, but the documents clearly show that Jasmine Martinez was dangerous behind the wheel. Her driving record over the past 5 years reads like this. Speeding, 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 speeding in a school or work zone, revocation, suspension, suspension, suspension.
Now, before we go on with the record, I have to clear up something that's a little bit confusing. We found out that this woman never, ever had a driver's license in New York State. So you might be wondering, if she didn't have a license, how can it be suspended or revoked? Well, since the state didn't have a driver's license to take away, they took away her right to drive, period. But that didn't stop her.
Operating without a license, suspension. Operating without a license, revocation, suspension. Operating without a license.
I mean, your record is horrendous. You got caught driving without a license many, 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 many times.
No, I haven't, sir.
Yes, you have.
Suspension, 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 suspension. Failed to stop at a sign. Speeding, operating without a license. Suspension, 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 suspension. A total of 15 suspensions.
15 times.
Oh, God.
She was stopped by police in New York City, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. And except for paying fines, she caught many breaks where charges against her were either dropped or changed.
For example, last summer she was pulled over here on the South Service Road of the Long Island Expressway in North Hills. Nassau County Police charged her with speeding through a construction zone and driving without a license. Her case came to the Village Hall Court here in North Hills, and somehow those charges of speeding through a construction zone and driving without a license got switched to failing to stop at a stop sign.
When we tried to find out what happened, we were told the village attorney is not allowed to comment and that courtroom transcripts are not kept on traffic cases.
And you got all kinds of deals all over the place, too.
And while she could have gone to jail for some of the charges against her, that never happened. On the night Michael was killed, Jasmine showed cops her expired Florida license. Funny, she lives in Brooklyn, but no one seems to care about that either.
I just feel that I don't understand how she got away with it so many times. And I feel that if it was one of the judge's kids or politicians' kids, this whole turnout would have been totally different.
Do you have anything to say to the family? That's all I need to know.
I was not being reckless. I did not know my license was suspended. Okay, and I
You didn't know your license was suspended?
No, I didn't.
Come on. You shouldn't have been behind the wheel.
Should have watched their child, okay? That was not my fault.
When you have a rap sheet longer than Victory Boulevard on your driving record, and then I find out you don't even have a New York State license, it's no more an accident. You shouldn't have been on the road, and if you weren't on the road, my son would be here today.
It doesn't feel real. I feel like he's coming home. That he's gonna walk through the door any minute.
Jasmine's next date with the system is scheduled for next week here in Staten Island. That's where she'll answer charges that she was driving while suspended when Michael was killed. Prosecutors assure us they're working hard on this case, and the judge's name is Alan Meyer. But the most that can happen to Jasmine is a sentence of 30 days in jail. I'm John Deutzman. Back to you guys.